Hello everyone, this is Said Tosif, and today we are going to continue our topics on Java Server Pages, that is JSP. Yesterday we have already seen some topics in the JSP like introduction, implicit object, scripting elements, expression language. Okay, today we have to discuss a final topic in this one, JSP directives. So today what we will do, we will just quickly brush up the yesterday's topic, and today we are going to check out JSP directives. Okay, so we'll move for our topics. Now yesterday we have seen that how the request is going to be happening in the JSP. Okay, and what is the use of JSP, how it is utilizing, means it is giving a more functionality to the servlet. Okay, it has the business logic as well as the presentation logic we are making separate, and we are using the JSP, and JSP will give you the functionality as the servlet, as well as it give you more functionality as it is a separate presentation, and related to the presentation it will give more functionality. And this is one simple life cycle of JSP. Whenever a user requests to the JSP, it will go for a JSP container. It will check whether the JSP is there in the container or not. If it is there, means it will return, means it will load the JSP to a JSP translator. The JSP translator translate the JSP page into a servlet java file. Okay, now the servlet a class, means a file .java class file has been generated. Now once a Java servlet is generated, it is going to be compiled, and a class file is going to be generated. .class file, servlet .class file, it is going to be generated, and that class file is going to be run on the GRE, and servlet object is going to be created. And after just creating a servlet object, it is going to be perform its business logic as well as the presentation what we have given in that one. It is going to be do that one, and it will return the information to the user. This is the thing. Now with the servlet functionality, it is give more functionality, such as it will give you that presentation logic differ. Okay, and it is easy to maintain the business logic and presentation logic. It will give you intelligence for presentation logic also, and autocomplete option will be there. Okay, now development will become very easy, and doesn't require to recompile everything, because whenever we are editing any servlet, we have to recompile and redeploy to the servlet, the project. But once if we are doing any update to the JSP file, right, we doesn't have to recompile the complete project. Okay, or we have to deploy only the page, we can directly replace. So whenever a JSP is called, the page is going to be compiled. And let's go to, okay, when it comes to features, it has a lot of implicit object like out, request, response. Request, response we have already seen in the servlet also. Yeah, so some other application, some other objects like out, we can give the printout. Yesterday we have seen that one. Configuration, application session, and page context we have seen in the servlet. Exception also. Okay, these are the implicit objects that a JSP provides. Okay, what are the types of JSP? There are two types of JSP: classic, which is we are currently using, and the XML. In the XML, while we are transferring the file over the internet also, we can write the JSP code in the XML. Okay, so it will give you the dynamic functionality for the XML. Element in the JSP, what are the different element? Action element, directive, scriptlets we have yesterday discussed. Okay, now we are going to discuss the directive in this today's concept, even though we will just brush up the scriptlet also. The JSP API consists of two packages, especially it contains two packages. One is javax.servlet.jsp and the javax.servlet.jsp.tagx. What is the use of tagx? Today we are going to discuss. Okay, yesterday we have seen the JSP package. Okay, in the JSP package, javax servlet.jsp package has two interfaces, that is JSP and HTTP JSP. And HTTP JSP is a child class of JSP page. Okay, you can see in this image. Okay, HTTP JSP extend the JSP interface, and JSP page interface extending the servlet. Okay, interface. And finally we are going to implement, means going to use this servlet. Okay, this servlet interface. If we come to a practical view, HTTP servlet class we are going to use. Okay, scriptlet tag. There are three types of scriptlet tag: scriptlet and expression tag and declaration tag. These three we have discussed yesterday. Even though we'll check out one simple example for this one. Now our Tomcat is not running, so implicit we'll check first whether yeah, all the functionality is there. Yeah, you can check out. We are using a complete Java code in this one scriptlet tag, and in this one expression tag is doing some expression, evaluating some expression and assigning the values. And you can check out for dynamic attribute initialization, we can easily use the expression tag. Okay, and declaration tag, we have, yeah, in this one we have a declaration tag. We can declare a variable and we can declare a function also. When we declare a variable or any declaration part will be outside the service method. Okay, whatever I have written here Java code, okay, this Java code will come into the service method, and when it is converted, this JSP is converted into a servlet, right? That time this code, the outside the non-declaration code will be within the service only. But when we comes to any declaration code, this will come as outside the declaration page, means within the class, so we can use this code at any time. Okay, this is a way of declaring. So we'll just simply run this our project, and we'll check out this one functionality, so we'll move for further. You can check out Java code is running, and this is also running conditions. We have added some dynamic initialization for color we have done, and some name and ID something we have done. We are clicking, we are doing the other functionality also. Yeah, this is the way. You can check out a dynamic time also, it is showing. Okay, so this is the way we are going to use the scriptlet tags. Yesterday we have discussed, and these programs also I have shared with you guys. Now we'll continue our next topic, that is a directive. Directive is nothing but which directs the translation of JSP page to servlet. Means what? Whenever a JSP page is translating, the directive may change the output file. Okay, example, that JSP directive or messages just tell the web container how to translate a JSP page into a corresponding servlet. Okay, there are usually there are three types of JSP directives. One is page directive, include directive, and the tag lib directive. So one by one we'll check out what is the use of page directive. Page directive gives the complete page information and page related activity. Example, the first is import. If you want to import some extra libraries too, because default packages will be are the servlet packages and JSP packages. If you want to use some extra packages, okay, that time you have to use the this import. Okay, example we'll check out now. Import, we have any import? Yeah, in this one only we can check out. Okay, you can check out this is one extra library, utility library, date. Okay, so we are going to use the date object also. So in this one it will show you the dynamic date that we have already seen that one in our simple. Yeah, in this one you can check out, it is showing a different date. If I refresh date, no, 221, right? 221:43. Okay, if I refresh once again, this one will check 221:54. Okay, so this is the way we can import some extra libraries or extra jar files. Not jar files, it's library only, so we can utilize. Okay, import. And content type, that is our default one. It will come with every whenever we create any JSP, the content type it will show. Example, now we will check out our content type. Okay, to HTML and TXT. Our extension is TXT, so we'll run this one. I believe this functionality it will go. It is coming, right? So you can check out, even though we have changed the text, it is coming as HTML only. Okay, then encoding type is a standard encoding, and this is a import type. So we will check out now extends. If you want to this very rarely use, okay, as we are using some classes to extend, right? Inheritance we are making, right? Using the extends we can extend other classes, parent class or child class. This way we can use. Okay, now we'll come to info. Okay, what is the use of info now? I just go to some declaration part, a new JSP. Okay, you can check out I have used the info here. Okay, so what it will does, it will set some information about the servlet. Okay, if you want to use this information, okay, you can easily check out that one, get servlet info. Okay, if you do this one, now it is include, right? Now we will check by making a request for include. You can check out developed by Syed. Okay, means what are the information I have given about the page. This page related to testing. Okay, if I do this change, it will tell about me the servlet, what is the information about the servlet, final output of this servlet. Okay, this is the way we can use the info. Buffer is nothing but, example, your page is very complex, but right now whatever we are using a page, it's a very simple pages. If our page is very complex, okay, that time it will take some loading time. Example, we are using some extra libraries, JavaScript libraries, CSS libraries. That time it will give you for loading those extra resources, it will take time, and for presenting also it will take time. In that case, what we are telling to our servlet, that one, wait for this much to be buffered in the browser. Okay, after buffering this much memory, okay, this much page, after downloading this much page, start displaying. Until don't display, because we don't want to display partial pages. Means some pages might you have seen that one. Sometimes if you request to some pages, the content it is shown, but visibility, but the alignment, it will completely gone. After few seconds, okay, it will give you good presentation, right? That is because there is no buffer timing, there is no buffer memory. So it is, whenever it is loading the things, it will trying to display. Okay, but if we make it as some buffer, so it will wait for to load some extra libraries and it will display. Okay, example, we can check out one example, like I have a new JSP, not this one, buffer JSP. Yeah, buffer JSP. We'll check. You can feel that it is stopping for bit time. Okay, bit of time. Example, I will close this one. Okay, now I will go to some history and I will clear the history, clear browsing data of 7 days, clear it. Now I will add this one. You can check out. Yeah, sometime it is not displayed, but suddenly it displayed a complete page. Okay, this is the way it is going to be work. Okay, it is won't display the partial data or the unaligned data. It will make some buffer memory, and after downloading all the things, it will display the things. Okay, that is the importance of the buffer. Language, you can set what type of language you are using. Okay, example, our language is Java. What language we are going to embed with the scriptlet tag. These are very direct. Okay, align ignore is thread safe. We'll come to is thread safe. Okay, we know that one whenever we are deploying any web, right, JS servlet, right, so the servlet can be requested at a time by many users. here I am giving on a demo of two users are requesting at the same time to the servlet 1. Okay, whenever we request server request any request for server will request for servlet, then it will create a instance of a servlet. If it receive another servlet, it will create another instance, and this is the mechanism of threading. Means in this one it is a safe threading is happening. Okay, if there are 1000 requests also, it will create 1000 requests and it will start execution the servlet as it comes in the instance. Okay, this way it is going to work. If you make is thread is equal to false, what happens? So whatever the services are there, okay, requests are there. If two requests, I am just giving a demo, or there is 1000 requests also, but only one request can be executed at a one time and it will return the response. So if there is two requests, then it will serialize the request. Means the request will be come in one by one order, which comes first that will execute and other will wait, and it will comes once again the that earlier is first one is finished, then the second request is start to execute. This is the way is thread is going to use. Auto flushed after doing performing that one, this servlet has to be get auto flushed. Page encoding, this automatically come in each and every page. Okay, you can check out page encoding, the standard it is coming. And error page, okay, what is the use of error page, we'll check now. And is error page, this is called event handling or error handling in the JSP. Okay, in this one I will go for some, okay, in this one only we will go. Okay, we are writing some Java code. Okay, like I want to display something result. Okay, int a is equal to 100 comma b is equal to 5 semicolon. Now I want to display the result. Think about this is I am assigning a static values as a variables, but there is a dynamic values. Okay, it can be changed any time. Okay, this is the way we are doing, right? So whenever, okay, now you can check out we are getting some result. So that server is running, and we will go for our browser and we will make as a include page request. Okay, you can check out result is 20. Yeah, exactly, we are getting the result. Think about some exceptions. Okay, dynamically some values are coming and it is gone for some exception. What happens? Okay, now I will refresh. Now 100 divided by 0, it's an exception. Now it is some error, it is come. But to avoid that this kind of error, we can manage by making some taglines at, okay, at page error page is equal to, look, I have created already one error page. In this this also one simple page only. Okay, you can check out, just I'm making one simple statement like sorry for inconvenience, tech team have received the issue. For more details you can please contact the support team. Okay, this is the message we have created, and you can check out in this one we made this page as a error page. Yes, this is a error page. Okay, so you can check out while we are we are including this error page JSP. Okay, now we try to refresh this page once again. JSP error JSP, it's not found because we have to forget to give the extension. Okay, now we will give error page. Okay, fine. You can check out, instead of displaying the error, it is saying that one, sorry for inconvenience, tech team have received the issue. For more detail, please contact to the support team. Okay, we will remove this one error, and once again we will run this one. You can check out, it is showing us the result. Okay, this is the way we are going to use this error page, and error is error page. Okay, this is the way we are going to handle the translation of one JSP page to the servlet. Okay, this is one simple example of page directives. Okay, now we will go for include directive. This is a very much useful page directive as well as include directive. Both are very much important, because now we will check one simple example for page directive, include directive, then we will come to discussion for the. Okay, now you can check out what I am doing. I am in this include page, I am just returning some result, showing some information about the servlet, and just welcome. Okay, but I want a complete functionality as it is there in this page. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to create a complete functionality once again in this one, right? But not required, we can reuse this page. Okay, how we can reuse? With the include tag. You can check out, at any place I can add at the end. If I add it, it will be come as at the include file is equal to, what is that one, implicit.jsp, right? This we are just including this one in the include page. You can check out, I believe the full functionality of include page is come at the end. Okay, from here this is our last page of this include, and from this implicit functionality is there, right? Okay, we will add here one extra tag like implicit functionality header, implicit functionality BR. Okay, you can check out, implicit functionality is coming here. If that implicit functionality, if you want at the beginning itself, okay, as we have added this tag at the end, we will add the tag at the above itself, right? So you can check out, I believe the implicit functionality will come first and our result coming in the last. Okay, this is the way. It's very useful. You can reuse your existing code and you can perform the complete functionality. Okay, now we will come to tag lib directives. Okay, JSTL. Now what is the use of this one? Now you are able to see in this one tags, right? H1 tag, BR tag, head tag, body, head, title tag. Everyone has their functionality. If I have given H1, it is showing me some in big characters, right? Okay, this is the way it is going to be work. So now the thing is in this one JSTL provide us to create our own tag. Okay, first what we have to do, we have to add a JSTL library to our functionality. So you can get it how to add a JSTL library. If you have any doubt, you can contact me. So we have added JSTL library to this one, and later we have to create some tags. Okay, this message tag, you can check out this message tag extension is TLD. In this one we are giving some version, that is not important. Yes, version we have given, and we are specifying one tag name is my message and class. So to give functionality we have to create one class. You can check out, here is the class details I have created. Okay, in this one you can check out, I am simple tag support class I am using. That simple tag support comes in the tag ext library. You can check out. Okay, in this one also, earlier also we have discussed the tag ext extension, tag extension library. Okay, the same tag extension library we are using, and we are creating one class. In this one we are overriding one function do tag. Okay, in to do tag, what functionality and what data will make print, right? That will be work as a output for this tag. Okay, so we have defined one class using this functionality, and after defining that class we have created one tag here. Okay, in this one we are given some name for the tag and a tag class we have specified, and we are giving some document is empty, it's not important. Okay, now we can check out JSTL. I have created one, and in this one, okay, this is the JS tag library, JSTL tag. In this one I am specifying the URL. Okay, I am specifying what is the URL where the tags are, my default tags are present. Okay, you can check out, this is the path I have given, and prefix I am specifying my tags. Okay, you can check out in the my tag I have given my message. Okay, my tag, my message. Okay, in this one I am using, if I run this one, what will happen we will get to know. Okay, JSTL page, right? You can check out, it is showing that message what there in the class. Okay, this is the message. If you change this message like, well, what I will do, H1 welcome to Bengaluru North University city, right? End of H1 tag, right? I just let it to be reloaded. Yeah, it is got reloaded. Now I will refresh this one. You can check out, welcome to Bangalore North University. This is working fine as it is. So now the question arises, this is already have created. Now how we can create another, just think you are creating a new tag now. Okay, now we are going to create one new tag for the date. Okay, class we are going to add like date class, fine. My date class I will add. Okay, my date class, I don't want anything. Okay, what I will do, because to make a save time, I will just import this all the things, and after that one I will make this one also copy and paste to make it simpler. Okay, now what I need to display, I want to display the current date is equal to date is equal to, now what I will do, java dot util dot date dot functional constructor, new function. I'm just want to display the date. Now we will check out whether it will work. Yeah, we have created the class. Now we have to create the library. So how we can create the tag? So go to web content, under the web content web info, right click on this one, create a file like my tags library. Okay, TLD is the extension, give finish. Okay, to make it as easier, I just copy paste this one. Okay, control V, this version, it will be the same, only my date I'm using. My date, what is the class? My date class is the com under my date. Okay, you can check out current date also. I will give you current date because no need to make a some confusion. So you can check out, it is done. So I will go for JSTL, and again I will write one tag library. Okay, in this one, what is the tag library name is my tags tags dot library dot exe. Okay, I will give some local, okay, own tags, right? So if I use own tag.currentDate. You can check out, there is only one tag, custom tag is there, so it is coming. So we'll try to run now whether it will work. No, it is not working because we have created the tag library, but we have not refreshed our server. So we'll stop our server, and once again we will check out and we will run on this server our complete project. Okay, let it to be start our server. Once our server is start, we'll go and we'll check once again. Okay, we will check now. You can check out current date is, it's showing the date. Okay, this is the use of JSTL. Okay, you can create your own tag. Okay, you can, after creating, you can publish your tag. And another one thing, how this tag, if you want to publish in the web, okay, it will be like this. We have to give our path, okay, where our path is there, then we have to give our tags. This is the tag, like when we are run in the local server. Okay, fine. So this is the usage of JSTL, means creating a custom tags. Okay, so we have seen today brush up yesterday's topic, because yesterday topic is very important. You guys have to do a more effort on the developing a web application using the servlet, JSP, HTML. Okay, this is the basic. Once you have completed, so furthermore we can improve our knowledge. Okay, so this also the directives which are very important to while developing. This is one JSTL also we have seen. So this is the complete about JSP topic. Thank you guys, thank you for watching this video, and please give the comment in the classroom, Google Classroom. So if you have any doubt, okay, stay at home and stay safe. Thank you everyone.